Hello there, my name is Bill Lorenz, and I've been helping people get life insurance for the last 20 years as an insurance agent here in California. Final expense whole life insurance is the type of insurance that sets aside a certain amount of coverage that should pay your final expenses as a life insurance benefit. The question you may be asking yourself is, do I even need final expense whole life insurance? And the answer to that will vary. If you're the type of person that has put money away and you're a planner and you have these things set aside, then maybe you don't need final expense whole life insurance. However, I can tell you this, life is not inexpensive and death is not inexpensive either. On average, they say that a funeral runs about $8,000 or more. You have to ask yourself a question. If I don't have that money set aside and I don't have a final expense whole life insurance policy, who's going to pick up those costs? Now that's a great question because obviously you would prefer that your family and or friends are not going to be covering the costs of your funeral. Therefore, having a final expense whole life policy will make sure that you have those funds put away from when that time comes. Now the next question is, what kinds of final expense whole life insurance policies are out there? Now, the first kind of final expense policy I want to discuss is called simplified whole life. So what they mean by simplified issue is that there's no need to take an exam or to have your blood drawn or any of those physical types of measurements. Essentially, they will do their underwriting based on your general health, your health questionnaire that they'll go through, and they'll check things like your pharmaceutical and your medical information bureau information. So essentially they're going to do a background check on you and to see what types of illnesses you've had, and also go from, like I said, your medical history. So these are very simple to qualify for. You can have some things wrong with you, maybe one thing or two things, nothing really serious, and definitely nothing that was recent. But if you have, if you have high blood pressure, if you have high cholesterol, if you have even diabetes, you are able still to pass for this type of simplified life insurance. Now, what is the other type of final expense whole life insurance? There's something that's called guaranteed issue whole life insurance. Now, the way that works, it is designed for people that are less healthy. So, for example, there is no exam given and there are no medical questions. It is literally guaranteed issue. Now, you might be asking yourself a question, why would these life insurance companies want to give out free money? And before I answer that, let me just say this. There is a catch. If you should happen to die within the first 2 years of the policy, then what they're going to do is they're going to give you your money back, and they're also going to give you an additional 10% back on your money. Now, you have to ask yourself a question. Is that a good deal for me? I would make a case that yes, it does make sense to get the guaranteed whole life insurance. Now, here's the reason why. They're going to give you back all of your money. So even if you go into this thing knowing that you may not make it 2 years, however many years you make it, they're going to give you back all of your money plus 10% on top. That's not a bad return. But also, that money is going to go, your family's then going to get that check back, and they're going to be able to use that towards your funeral and towards your final expenses. So you're still working towards that goal. But if you should beat the odds, and let's face it, people live longer than their doctors say they will all the time. Should that happen, you now have a bona fide life insurance policy that will pay the full amount, whether it's 2 years and 1 day after you die or any time after that. You now have a regular life insurance policy that your family can count on to use for your final expenses. Now, whether you end up with a simplified issue whole life insurance policy or a guaranteed issue life insurance policy, typically those are put in force right away. It's usually what's called a pass or fail underwriting. So you find out typically the same day whether you've qualified or not once you go through that simplified underwriting. Now, what does a final expense whole life insurance policy typically cost? Well, the prices will vary. Most of the companies out there, the household names that you've heard of, the policies are pretty affordable. Let's look at the simplified issue as opposed to the guaranteed issue life insurance policies. The simplified issue policies run for, let's just take a 65-year-old male. Typical premium would be around $56 a month. Maybe for a female, a little bit less, like $41 a month. You go up to $15,000, you get into maybe for a male 65, 70-year-old, you're looking at $89 a month. So we're not talking lots of money. They go up to about $40,000, and depending on your age, of course, the premiums will start getting up there. But again, you have to remember the goal. The goal is to provide some money to pay for your final expenses. So you're not looking for $50,000 or $100,000 worth of coverage. You're looking for the $10,000 to $15,000, maybe $12,000, maybe $20,000. But that's the range that we're looking at, and it's typically going to be a little bit under or a little bit over $100, depending on your age and depending on the amount of coverage that you elect for. Now, I hope this has been very educational for you and you've learned a little bit about this final expense life insurance. Before you go, if you don't mind, if you would fill out your name and your email address, that'll put you on our newsletter. I'll be sending you out, well, it's automatic. It'll send you out right away, our white paper that kind of goes over what I went over today, plus gives you a little bit more pricing, a little bit more in-depth information so that you can make a better decision for yourself. If you'd like us to help you with this, please call us, email us, whatever's convenient for you, and let us know, and we'll be in touch with you, and then we can go through the pricing and go through your health and see which best fits your needs. Again, I appreciate your time. Thanks for stopping by, and have a great day. See you on the next video.